Hey everybody, this is Denise from Electric Eye Crochet, and this is Crochet for the Absolute Beginner. So, you want to get started with crochet. Well, the first thing you're going to need is a hook. And I learned how to crochet by using a kit, and it had little how-to instructions, little step-by-step on how to make each piece, and it came with its own hook and its own yarn, and that was all fine and good. It had a hook that looked a lot like this one. Well, actually, it was this one. And it had this sort of rubbery coating on it, but I didn't know any better. I wanted to start making different things, and different things were calling for different sized hooks and different kinds of yarn. So I started sort of buying things on Amazon willy-nilly, and I found this lovely kit. It had a nice carrying case. It feels really nice. It's got a zipper. It's nice and portable. And ooh, it's got all these pretty colors and all these different sizes. Came with all these extra little embroidery needles and stuff. This is fantastic. Isn't this great? What I didn't realize was that if you learn with a rubberized hook, it's really hard to start using a metal hook because it'll hurt your hand. Also, when I first started crocheting, I did not understand tension. And I was super gung-ho, and I was holding on to the hook for within an inch of my life, and I ended up hurting my hand. So while these are great, and obviously I've held on to them because it's nice to have a spare, and these are actually really nice, I did buy a piece of foam, and this is actually built to go around crochet hooks, but this is no way to live. It took me forever to get this on here because it's a really nice snug fit. It's handy, it's nice to have, but it wasn't doing it. I'm like, all right. So thank you, but I'm going to have to move on, which I did. I moved on to these. I found these on Amazon. They were at a nice, reasonable price. They had this really great array of sizes. I mean, look at how huge that one is. Look at how tiny that one is. I'm like, okay, great. Now these I'm probably going to be able to use on all my projects. It's such a fine array of sizes. And it's got the grippy that I need. And that was all fine and good, and I was having a great time making all my new projects until, and again, this had something to do with tension. The harder I pulled, the more that would happen. And that's no good. It doesn't help with your tension. You're slipping. You don't have good control because the hook is getting further away from you. And yeah, that's not supposed to happen. And this is what happens when you get, something that's a little less expensive and you're trying to save a couple of bucks. You get what you pay for. So these, they serve me well, and I have been happy using these as sort of secondary ones, especially these bigger ones, because they're the only set that has these really huge ones. And it's really handy to have these extra sizes. So I keep these around. Oh, and with this one, this set has super tiny, really tiny hooks. You're going to find out there in crochet land, some people are making these micro crochet. This is actually a hook. You can't even see it. It's so tiny. There's a hook on there. Or is it? Nope, that one, actually, I think that one's just a point. No, I think it's a hook. See, you can't even tell. They're so tiny. People make, you'll find people that make these little tiny little bunny rabbits that are no bigger than the size of your thumbnail. I don't have the eyesight for it. I'm bless the people who are able to do that. I can't. These are so tiny. But it's nice to have people make really fine lace with these things. I like having them because just in case I need them for something. But yeah. Nice. It's a great set. It's just I can't use it day to day. So then I started doing research because I realized I was not going to stop crocheting. This crochet thing is really becoming a habit. So I wanted to make sure I was getting hooks that were going to last me a while, good quality hooks that were going to do the job and do it well. So a lot of people swear by a couple of brands, Clover and Tulip. These are Clover hooks, And once I got them, I stopped right there. And wait, is this close? Nope, this is one of the old. So these hooks, they've got the grippy. The grippies are super, super strong. Like this is never, none of these have ever come loose, and I've been using these for over a year now. You'll also notice that, these are very shiny, these hooks. And you'll see that these hooks have a little bit of a haze on them. This is like a non-stick surface. And what's awesome is it just glides through yarn like butter. So it's super smooth. It's less wear and tear on your hands. And I live by these things now. So these are my clover hooks. They're a little more expensive, but they're worth it. Different hooks work with different size yarn, and they also give you different sized stitches. So obviously, super small yarn, you're going to want to use a super small hook. Or if you use medium yarn and you use a super small hook, you're going to end up with tighter stitches. Now, if you use larger yarn, of course, you're going to want a larger hook, which is great. And you'll find in our next video, when we talk about yarn and yarn sizes, the yarn label has a recommended size of crochet hook or knitting needle that corresponds to the size yarn that you've just bought. Now, while that's fantastic and it'll make for nice regular stitches, you can start experimenting. So if you take a smaller sized yarn, like a size 2, and you use maybe like a size 5 hook with it, you're going to get a nice loose stitch. And where that comes in handy is, say you're making like a bathing suit cover-up little robe for summer. And you don't want to, keep warm. It's already hot outside. So you want to have something that's a nice open weave. You'll use smaller yarn, bigger hook, and you'll get those open stitches that'll let air through. So where you'll want to go smaller, say you'll use a thicker yarn but with a smaller hook, that's great for doing things like amigurumi, which are little dolls and stuffed animals that are small and cute and adorable. And the reason why you want to use a smaller hook is with bigger yarn with the smaller hook, you're going to make tighter stitches, and tighter stitches make for stiffer fabric. And that means that the doll is going to stand up. It's not going to flop around unless you want it to. Then, just experiment with your hook size. But that is why you have all these different size hooks. And that's how you can mix and match your hooks with your yarn for whatever project you're using. So we're going to move on to gear. Like, we're going to talk about why I'm wearing these rings and what they do in our next video.